Welcome to Drill On Earnings. We have quarterly results out from AMD, that all-important chip maker. I'm Cory Johnson, Chief Market Strategist for Epistrophy Capital Research. We look at the business story behind one stock on the move. We cover the 50 most important companies in technology. AMD is absolutely one of those companies, reporting Q1 results that were better than Wall Street expected. Specifically $7.4 billion in sales, operating income of $806 million, net income of $709 million, nice gross margins at 54%. Let's go through it. So sales growth accelerating for AMD, up to 36% on a year-over-year basis. That has been good. It's been getting better, and that's from really a negative place where they were at the end of 2022. We look a little bit deeper beyond the headline numbers. So record revenue, despite some headwinds, as I mentioned, $7.4 billion. Data center growth drove everything. We're going to talk a lot about that, but also their client segment that's selling to PCs. So really great growth despite macroeconomic concerns, despite export controls limiting their ability to sell into China. And very specifically, their next generation MI350 and MI400s are being built out. Those are the things competing with the Blackwell from NVIDIA, and they're doing quite well. Specifically, those being designed by hyperscalers and by their now wholly owned ZT Systems. That's helped their gross margins. So gross margins of selling those great expensive products are really good. 53.6% in the quarter, a lot better than the sub 50% this company was putting up 2 years ago. And although the data center growth declined from where it was, say, 9 months ago, 57% growth is just fantastic. Let's also talk about the desktop business. Historically moribund in the last few years, 50% year-over-year growth in desktops, PC chips up 68% overall, driven by their Ryzen CPU, which they're charging more and more money for. That grew the average selling price. They also had some success in gaming. Finally, their Radeon 9070 had a really big launch, and although they're still down 30% on a year-over-year basis, the massive double-digit declines, we're still in double-digit declines, maybe behind them with a tick up in that decline rate. But this business that was once all about PCs is now all about data center. In this quarter, it was 49% of revenues, and AI driving the sales of the data center business has really given rise to AMD's revenues right across the board. Specifically, the data center business has driven kind of everything and supported all the rest of these businesses now that PCs are coming back. And when you look at it as a percentage of overall sales, you really can see data centers going from, slightly above 10% 3 years ago, 4 years ago, to now nearly 50% of the AMD business. How did the stock react? Well, the stock was up, it jumped initially when the numbers came out, and after hours trading, sold off a little bit during the conference call to finish the day out, the finish after hours session up 1%, but that's after a 37% decline in the last year. And one of the concerns there, of course, is China and export controls. These new China-related MI308 restrictions. The MI308 was the chip they made especially for China to try to slip under the old export control regime. Well, those are going to be cut. They say it's going to cut $1.5 billion in GPU revenues in 2025, $700 million next quarter alone. But AMD still expects strong, full-year double-digit GPU growth. Here's CEO Lisa Su.
We are extremely excited as well about the MI400 series and the roadmap there. I think we've been very active with customers on our roadmap. As you know, this is one of those areas where you absolutely have to be planning many quarters in advance for that. One of the primary reasons we acquired ZT Systems was exactly to address this rack scale architecture. And so from that standpoint, the closing of the ZT acquisition has been very timely. What we're doing right now is, together with our ZT design team, as well as our customers' design teams and our own systems design capability, really actively planning what those rack scale systems are going to look like. I would say the MI400 series enthusiasm from customers is high, and there's a lot of activities that are going on right now to ensure that we do in fact learn from some of the let's call it some of the challenges that have occurred with some of the recent deployments.
So that next gen chip sales into systems designed by the maybe 1,300 programmers that they hired from ZT Design or acquired from ZT Design could really change the game going forward for AMD. They certainly hope so. What's it all mean, though? What's your big drill on earnings takeaway? And the one number that tells a whole lot? Well, I've got that. So AMD just reported Q1 earnings. Here's your essential summary. $7.4 billion in top line revenues, profits of $709 million. That's a 36% increase in top line sales. Really good for this company, and they needed it. It shows they're making progress in the data center where they're competing with NVIDIA, when that was just not a given even 2 years ago. Lisa Su doing great things at AMD. And here's a drill down bite, the one number that tells you a whole lot, that proves my point. Well, the business overall is up 36%. The data center business is up 57% on a year-over-year basis. That's really strong and lifting all of the results at AMD. All right, thanks for checking out Drill Down Earnings. I'm Cory Johnson.